another inspiring speaker. He is the co-founder of Sahamati. He has played a crucial role in advising government and regulatory committees and guiding advanced and emerging economies on deploying digital public infrastructure for empowering individuals and small businesses. He is part of the official delegates team of India in the role of a technical expert on digital infrastructure, Ministry of Finance. He was part of the core team that led the strategy and the design of the data empowerment and protection architecture, a framework that grants control of data to individuals and small businesses. So please help me welcome one of the co-founders of Sahamati. I think Mahesh usually says he is half my age and double my height. So please help me welcome Mr. Siddharth Shetty.
Thanks everyone for coming here. You know, not too long back, if we would invite and do a workshop on account aggregator, I think even getting 10 people to fill the room would have been a struggle. And even of that 10, maybe 50% would be yawning when we would talk about account aggregator and why does it even exist. And so it's really powerful to see, you know, that ecosystem develop from that very nascent idea not too long back to where we are today. It's probably, you know, 80 times that number in the audience that's sitting to your left and right. And why have we reached this stage? And this is still an early beginning, as you heard Mahesh talk about. The core idea of giving people control of their data was something that about 7 or 8 years back we realized is going to be key to India's economic transformation across a range of sectors, across financial services and democratizing credit, broadening the retail investor base, broadening the insurance coverage that we have, but also when taken to other sectors like health, education, skills, skilling credentials, and beyond. And that really drove the manifestation and philosophy and design of the account aggregator ecosystem, particularly the creation of these new institutional vehicles of consent managers and account aggregators being consent managers for financial data. This was a big departure from developments even elsewhere in the world as people thought about privacy, data protection, data governance, and more broadly, data empowerment. And it's really good to see this hypothesis now play out, to know that it works. You know, it was an early set of technical standards as well as policy frameworks. None of us knew would this actually, you know, when it all comes together, because you have multiple stakeholders that need to align for this transaction to finally meaningfully succeed for the end individual or SME. And as you saw the numbers that Mahesh shared, the fact that data is being shared in real time is a powerful testament to where we have come. The second aspect to this, I think that's quite visionary, and all of you in the audience today, across your different roles as financial information providers, financial information users, account aggregators, and the TSPs that power this infrastructure and make this happen, is really the fact that this is going cross-sectoral. It's one of probably India's only financial market infrastructure, if I may say, that is inherently cross-sectoral. And that comes with its own challenges as well as benefits. The fact that this goes beyond banking, it goes beyond capital markets, it goes beyond insurance and pension funds. And as reflected even in the draft data protection bill, the idea that every individual will have a right to port their data from one service provider to any other in a machine-readable, secure manner using consent managers like account aggregators. And I think with that regulatory direction reflected in the draft data protection bill, it makes it very clear that while we roll this out within the financial sector to start off with, this will extend across other sectors as the use cases develop and as time goes by. I think what's also important, particularly given the period we are hosting this, is India has assumed presidency of the G20. And as part of its presidency efforts, digital public infrastructure is a key part of that agenda. What is DPI, or what is digital public infrastructure? It's very simple. It's essentially the idea that we use technology interventions to solve societal problems in public interest. And you basically allow for private innovators to come in, as you've seen in the case of Aadhaar, as you've seen in the case of UPI, and now as you saw in the case with the account aggregator ecosystem. And so account aggregator is a key pillar of India's digital public infrastructure focus within both the finance and Sherpa tracks. And it's really good to see the conversation around account aggregators and more broadly data exchange, data empowerment now occupy the global sphere as well, given that a lot of advanced as well as emerging economies have been battling with the question of how do you actually give our own citizens control of their data and what does data sovereignty mean. In addition to DPI, I think what's really exciting me today is to see how the circle's coming back to solving for the end individuals and SMEs. If you look at the numbers in India, about 60 million SMEs, roughly by most estimates, only 10% of them get access to financing. If we shift from the physical collateral world to the world of information collateral, and that's what foundational infrastructure like the account aggregator enables, we are talking about a credit flow to those 30, 40 million SMEs, which if they're able to hire one person, you're creating 30, 40 million jobs. So that's essentially the scale of the societal impact that we're all gathered here to build on top of. And the same exists even when it comes to individuals, whether it's individuals getting access to finance, and not just access to finance, as with the work of the government through Jan Dhan as well as Aadhaar, we've sort of bridged the access problem. I think now seeing the cycle turn on to usage, using different financial products and participating more deeply in our financial ecosystem. Really, the bedrock of any financial service is the flow of money and the flow of data. With UPI, you saw India essentially opening up the flow of money, giving people control, and we saw what a transformation that was. And with account aggregator, we are essentially doing that for the flow of data. So if you combine these two, you combine the flow of money and you combine the flow of data, you can create any new financial product, any new financial service that you can actually imagine. Highly sachetized products to many other types and constructs. And so really, I'm really pleased, and it's an honor to have all of you join us, especially given, as Mahesh mentioned in today's session, what's unique, unlike most conferences, is really the idea that we're putting individuals and SMEs in the center. And so you mostly don't have panel discussions, there are a few, but the rest of the focus is on actual implementations, including having actual beneficiaries of the system, like a postwoman and many others, participating in these discussions. So it's going to be less of us as experts, but more the actual beneficiaries. And our hope is that will actually spark greater ideas on how this infrastructure can be used in the here and now. So with that, I'd like to welcome you all once again, and thank you so much for being here.
So thank you to Mahesh and Siddharth. I can safely say they gave the short and tall of finance together, and hopefully all of you who have not yet joined the community will be inspired to join the community after their inspiring words. So there are two words that we're going to hear a lot about today, and that is, of course, can anyone guess? Account aggregators, right? So we have created a short show reel for y'all to watch to capture the journey of the account aggregators. So if y'all can play the reel now.
India today is bustling with the aspirations of each of us for a financially healthy life. Whether it is Amrita, a 30-year-old architect in Mumbai, eager to expand her business with a short-term loan, or Subedar Karan, a 60-year-old armed forces retiree in Ludhiana, anxious for advice on how to settle with adequate health and life insurance. Whether it is Seema, a 42-year-old tailor in Bihar, focused on securing her daughter's education through smart savings and investments, or Gunase Karan, a 53-year-old farmer in Palakkad, worried about protecting his family's future against crop diseases and nature's vagaries by investing in a small business. There are 1 billion of us and 60 million MSMEs with similar aspirations. However, less than 20% of the Gunasekarans and the Amritas are able to access formal loans from financial institutions, and less than 5% of Seemas and Subedar Karans receive trustworthy advice on important financial matters such as investing in the capital market or setting aside money for insurance. Why?
See, when it comes to the customer, of course, we would like to serve anyone who has a credit need. Every lender would want that. But it is important that we know who exactly the end user is, whether he or she would be able to repay the loan. Imagine a scenario where an MSME customer comes in for a loan. For an MSME customer today, if you look at the maximum pain points is the number of verifications that the customer has to go through and the amount of documentation that a customer has to provide. So they'll have to give bank statements, GST registration and so on and so forth. The list goes on and on. On one end, it is the pain for the customer to submit all of this. On the other end, financial institutions like us have to verify all of these documents. Given high documentation, we would want to authenticate all of these documents, resulting in inordinate delays, given that there is a lot of fraud activity, etc., that can get seeped into the system. So today, when an MSME gives us all of these documents, and all the underwriting is largely happening on financials, profit and loss, balance sheets, a lot of this information is dated. So today, if I am sitting in the month of May, all the lending that is happening is based on the financials that somebody's filed nearly 15 months ago.
Today, whenever we onboard a client, it's a fairly long and tortuous process. Collecting data from the client is like pulling teeth without anesthesia. Getting bank statements, getting the employee provident fund data, getting NPS data, getting mutual fund data, getting the loan liability data of the client. In fact, there have been cases where out of sheer frustration, clients have dropped out of the advisory process simply because of the frustrations and the efforts involved on their side to collect and present that data. From our side, even after we collect all the data, because it comes in different formats, there is a long and laborious process to convert it into a common thing and then to be able to present back that data to the client with a plan. Most cases that means that from the day the client agrees to the day he sees a first glimpse of a plan is anywhere between 30 to 45 days.
And therein lies the problem. Lenders and advisors need to have a 360-degree view of the customer's financial health. This includes all aspects of the customer's investments and spending, be it advisory, insurance, borrowing, or retirement planning. And how exactly is all this data collected and provided today by Gunasekaran, Amrita, Seema, and Subedar Karan? Paper, images, PDFs, screen grabs, unstructured, untrusted, inconvenient, incomplete, slow. So many of us, all in a hurry, and only a few thousand of lenders, insurers, advisors available to fulfill our needs. How will this work? Is there a paperless way? A trusted, secure, fast, digital highway for data to flow? And most importantly, one in which Gunasekaran, Amrita, Seema and Subedar Karan are always in the driver's seat? It is after all their data.
Take the case of Shreya Sheriyar. Shreya lives in Noida with her parents and 4 siblings. And this large family needed to move into a new house. Shreya wanted a loan to renovate her home. And when she approached our branch was able to give her a loan within 15 minutes, thanks to the account aggregator framework, wherein she shared her bank statement of another bank with us. Or take the case of Anshika Singhal. Anshika lives in Delhi and she needed a personal loan for an immediate financial need that she had to take care of. Have shared their excitement and their joy at their being able to get a loan from us in a seamless, frictionless manner. We are extremely excited to see the kind of change that this can bring to financial services, and we are hopeful that we will be able to benefit from this partnership with the account aggregator ecosystem as well.
With the new platform, if I am able to get fresh cash flows off the customer, then we would be able to make real-time decisioning, but also look at or underwrite a customer basis latest information, thereby reducing delinquencies and also helping us reach credit to the last mile.
One reason today the investment advisory profession is called elitist is because of the cost and the time involved in doing all this data processing, it has been limited to the upper end of those who need investment advisory services. What the account aggregator system will do is it will enable the profession to provide this service to every person in India who needs this investment advisory services, which are basically doing it by keeping the client's best interest at heart, fulfilling a fiduciary obligation. That is the dream that account aggregator will fulfill.
A bustling India now already has several efficient, trusted, high-speed digital public infrastructure for identity verification, for payments, for road transportation, for airport transit. Now over 10 million Indians have already experienced something similar for data sharing, an empowering experience. It is time now to onboard many more millions onto this new highway. It is time now to open finance.
I'm not a person who is in finance, but I was also inspired by that movie or a show reel that we saw. Did all of you find it informative? Because a lot of effort went into making that, and a huge round of applause to Sahamati for that. So we are going to be doing the lamp lighting. The auspicious event of lighting the lamp symbolizes knowledge, blessings, and the turning of light over darkness. This requires a bigger round of applause because this is the kickstart to the day.